This is the voice of Biafra International, which broadcasts to you regularly from our satellite station here in Germany. We are here once again this evening to discuss some very important issues with our people and for our people. Our coming here every evening is a kind of interactive session. Issues are quite topical, and we select them randomly based on current realities. And when I talk of current realities, I mean those particular matters that solely concern the Igbos, the Biafran people in the Nigerian Federation. There are a lot of things we, the Biafrans, the Igbos, always neglect. But one thing certain is this: these things we neglect are very, very important in our daily lives, and they equally determine our relationship with the rest of Nigeria. We have always said it again and again that in the Nigerian Federation today, this particular geographical expression called Nigeria, we the Biafrans have a lot of stakes, and we can equally determine a lot of things. But then, what is happening? Before we come into the discourse proper, let us play the Biafran national anthem.
Have lifted up their eyes to see the shining glory, the beauty of Messiah, to set the captives free, and let the mighty see the King is set to rule. Let's sing for joy, His kingdom is restored. Let's shout for joy, Hallelujah, Hallelujah. Oh, praising the Lord, oh Biafra, oh Biafra, kingdom of God on earth, oh Biafra, the victory is sure. Victory, oh victory, our heart is glad, our flag is on. Victory, oh victory. Biafra is a dwelling place of God.
Actually, Biafra is a dwelling place of God. It is a home to us and for all of us. When we say it's a dwelling place of God, that re-emphasizes our belief that Biafra is spiritual, and those who fight against Biafra are doing so at their own risk. Every day we believe, just like every week, every month, and every year, our God is always with us. There is nothing we do, we don't call upon His holy name to encompass everywhere. We always ask Him to intervene in all our daily endeavors. Biafra is a dwelling place of God. That is why in this our struggle, we have always told our people, let nobody build Biafra on a platform of lies. Because whatever lies you tell our people today will boomerang if tomorrow comes. We are here always to tell our people the simple truth and nothing but the gospel truth. No matter how bitter truth might be, we are here always to speak out. That is why the bim-massob family, under the able leadership of Chief Dr. Rap Ubazrike, has made it abundantly clear that we should always use this voice of the people for the people and in their own interest. We are not here to sing anybody's ennobling praise names. We are not here to echo cant. We are not here to plump anybody's humbug. No, we are here rather to tell you the truth. We consider issues as they come and we appraise such issues. We lay everything bare for the critical appraisal of our people. That is why we say we have nothing to hide. Today, we are to discuss some other important issues that concern the Igbos, the Biafrans. More especially when we talk of the word referendum. We are going to discuss all these issues today, side by side with the term referendum. And we know where does our own referendum start. These are the things we have to tell our people today. Because when some people hear the term referendum, they just give it political interpretation. They think it's just, oh, let my people go. Let my people decide to go. It is more than what the ordinary man on the street thinks. Referendum is more than ordinary interpretation being given to it by a misguided group. Don't misquote me. I have never here mentioned any particular group, but one thing certain is there could be a group that could be misguided for reasons that they do not understand the meaning of referendum and even its application in our daily life, this Biafra. With me right now is Judy Chijoke, who is joining us in this broadcast right away from Lagos. Judy Chijoke, you are welcome to the broadcast. Hello, Judy Chijoke, once again, please. You are welcome to the broadcast. Jude, are you there with us? Always pay attention. When I give you, maybe you are distracted. I wouldn't be repeating. You are part of the broadcast and you should be on the alert. Are you there, Jude Chijoke?
Good evening. Good evening, Biafrans.
Speak out, speak out, speak out, please. Speak out, please. We can't hear your voice very well.
Biafrans. This is Jude Chijoke. I am joining from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you very
much. You pay attention and listen.
Thank you very much, Jude Chijoke, for coming to the program. Unfortunately, yesterday, you joined us very, very late. So the time you were trying to connect, the program had eventually come to an end. So we sincerely apologize, much as you owe us even more apologies for coming to the program where you are a broadcaster so late. We will find it intolerable some other time. So like we are discussing, we have a lot of issues to table here today. And we shall make it publicly known that every Biafran is free to be part of this particular broadcast today. Some people are asking that they want number they will take to reach out to us to make their own contributions, whether in support or against. We are going to give them access because Biafra is for everybody and vobi is for raw. Also with us right now, joining from Accra, Ghana, is Uche Diji. Uche Diji, please, you are welcome to the program. Uche Diji. I don't know if
you hear me.
Yeah, everybody should be on the line, please. I don't know if there is a poor communication network over there that we always find it difficult connecting any of you. Unfortunately, if I would say, you are all part of this particular evening discourse, and if we mention you and lose contact with you, it affects the flow of our talk. Uche Diji, once again, over to you. You are welcome to the program.
Wonderful people of Biafra, I salute you. I greet you all. I am your humble servant, Uche Duji, speaking from Ghana. I want to thank all our listeners and those who love truth, who love freedom, who wants to make sure that Biafran restoration is being achieved by non-violent, non-exodus, as our leader, Chief Dr. Rafa Wazirike, introduced. Thank you and stay tuned.
Thank you so much, Uche Diji from Accra, Ghana. We really appreciate your sacrifice on daily basis. You never miss any opportunity to be with us in our regular broadcast. You are indeed a true Biafran. True Biafran in spirit, not those who just shout Biafra, Biafra. While indeed, when it comes to issues that have to do with Biafra, you find them wanting. We really appreciate your resolution. We appreciate your commitment. We appreciate your sacrifice in this regard. You are welcome. Like we are saying, fellow Biafrans, we are not coming here to discuss politics, but we shall be referring to politics where the theme or the subject matter concerns our Biafra resurgence. We are taking issues from here and there because they affect our people. And when I talk of our people, no matter where you belong, you are part of the Biafran family. Hello, our caller. Our caller, please hold on. Okay. Can you quickly make your contribution before I keep on what I'm doing? Hello, our caller. Hold on, please. Hold on, please. Let me get you well connected that our people will hear you. Just a second. Just a second, please, my friend. Okay, you are with us now. You are calling from Ikeduru, Owerri zone. Yes, speak to us. Oh, we are not getting you clearly. Please hold on, please. Yeah, once again.
My name is Pastor Uche Tiurufos.
Okay. Okay, you're welcome. Yes.
I just got the program. I don't know the topic of the program.
Okay, we are discussing random issues because in Nigeria today, as in Biafra land, everything that belongs to Biafran people, we don't make use of them. The Nigerian government is there taking away everything. But today, we are discussing infrastructure. What do I mean by infrastructure? In the international scene, every international flight that comes to Nigeria, 70–80% of the passengers are Biafrans. Yet none of them touches any good international airport or Port Harcourt or Calabar. They stop at Lagos or Abuja. 80% of importation in Nigeria today is done by the Igbos. Yet the Port Harcourt, Calabar, and Warri, and even Onitsha inland ports, none of them is working. We are asking why. When we contribute 30% of the Nigerian economy, how come that all these international airlines don't consider it, necessary or appropriate touching down Biafra land when they carry the bulk of our people? When we stop at Abuja or Lagos, when we import through Abuja or Lagos, let me say through Lagos, it costs us extra money and inconvenience to transport ourselves back to Biafra land. We are here to discuss all these things today, to tell the world that it is time for them to start touching down all these international flights, touching down regularly at Port Harcourt, Calabar, and Enugu, even Owerri, Southern Dakota International Airport. These are the issues we are going to discuss today. Because when we talk of a referendum, this referendum has to start with us internally. If we are able to mobilize ourselves, now we talk of referendum indeed. With us equally, I must say, is Louis' response. I don't know if you are there with us. Can you hear us today? Louis' response. No, Louis is not with us right now. He is disconnected. And Sonny Baba was online with us a few minutes ago. Yeah, Louis, unfortunately, there has never been a time we hear you clearly. I know you are connected, but poor connectivity is the bane. Please, I am saying we cannot hear you, and for you to be talking is of no essence.
Hello,
We cannot get you clearly at all. Never. There is a falling flow of the expression there. We cannot hear you. Please. Yes, this is a problem indeed. Bear with us.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, thank you very much. So, fellow Biafrans, these are the issues we are here to discuss today. As members of the crew join us, I'll be introducing them one after the other. Now, however, by way of this our introduction, we have to start now playing some of those songs of long ago for which Biafran people are known for. Now to the business of the day. Why are we here always on Voice of Biafra International? Because it is our own responsibility to enlighten our people. Over the years, the majority of our people have been fed with a series of lies. Hello, our friend from Ebonyi State. You are welcome to Voice of Biafra International live broadcast. Welcome, and tell Biafrans your name and where you are calling from because they want to know who is online.
I think your friend is the crew.
Yes.
I'm calling
from Ebonyi State right now. That is good.
Yes.
Now, what we are discussing today is why is it that every international airline that is coming from outside the world into Nigeria, 80% of the passengers are Biafrans? 80% of importations done at the Nigerian wharves today is done by the Biafrans. But in Biafra land, we don't have any international airports that brings down our people direct to Biafra land instead of stopping at Abuja and Lagos and spending expensively before they get home. And then transporting our goods again from Lagos seaport down to Biafra land. Why is it so? We are here to discuss all these things. What are your contributions?
Okay, thank you, sir. My contribution over there.
Go on, please.
It is how our government wants to police
we have lost him. So this is why we are here, like our friend Oscar Don Pedro Ugochukwu is saying, that the topic we are discussing now is exactly why we want Biafra. Let us take this as an example. When we talk of referendum, referendum has to start internally first. Referendum is making a statement. Okay, I'll come back to that. Let us take our caller still. Hello, our dear caller from Ebonyi State.
Yes, I'm saying.
Yes, go on. Honestly, we're not getting you clearly. Maybe you have to come outside a bit or close to the window for us to get you.
All right. I'm saying because of that, there's not regard us. That's the reason why they keep us aside. And the two, they're always like
Please take your background. It's too noisy a bit. We are not getting you clearly. Our listeners are not getting you very well.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Now, I have to welcome Sonny Bobo, who is right now in Biafra land, joining us to this particular program. Sonny, you are welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, my brother. You can now.
You're welcome once again. Now, what we are discussing is this. I always, let me say, I as a person, like very many other Biafrans, we travel a lot from Europe to Biafra land to Nigeria, from America to Biafra land to Nigeria, from Asia, more especially. Now, if you enter any international aircraft, passenger aircraft, the bulk of the passengers therein are Biafrans, are Igbos. Incontestably, whether Lufthansa, belonging to the Germans, whether KLM, Royal Dutch Airline, Holland, or the Netherlands, British Airways, or whatever you can think of, even Turkish Airline, Ethiopian Airlines. If you enter any of these international airlines, passenger airlines, 80%, let me not exaggerate, 70% of the passengers are Igbos, are Biafrans. But unfortunately, most unfortunately, each of these international flights stop down either at Lagos or Abuja. Perhaps once or twice in a month, they touch down Port Harcourt, only in time of emergency. Why is it so? Why is it that we have the so-called governors that siphon our resources? We have the so-called politicians who are there to represent the interests of the Igbos or the Biafrans. But none of them can speak out and compel these international flights to be touching down at Calabar, Enugu, Port Harcourt, or to say the least, Samambakwe International Airport. When we touch down at Lagos, it takes us another 8 to 10 hours before we get down to Biafra land. And the traveling from Lagos to Biafra land is fraught with dangers, with the disaster, I must say it. Most often, our people die on the roads. People coming back from the States, from Europe, from Asia, touching down Lagos, for them to now take transport from Lagos to Biafra land. Either armed robbers will waylay them, or they will have some accidents on the road. Sometimes they will stay 2 days on top of the Niger Bridge. But then, we sacrifice everything and pay a lot. The question arises, why is it that our people have not come together to make a protest, write to some of these international airlines to tell them that since Biafra Igbos provide 70-80% of their annual passengers, why can't you be touching down Biafra land? Some months ago, I wrote something in that regard, calling on Biafrans to come to my support. Let us sign it and then send these letters to the international airlines. This is where referendum starts. When we Biafrans come together and decide to compel all these international airlines that is either you touch down Biafra land or we boycott their services, I bet you they must be compelled to move down to Port Harcourt, Calabar, Enugu, Owerri. Year in, year out, we spend our fortune paying for flights. Something must be done. Secondly, go to Apapa or Tinkan Island Wharf. 70-80% of the importation also done by our own Biafrans and my own Igbo people. When we import all these goods down to the seaport in Lagos, it will take us another 1 to 2 weeks before we transport our goods and services down to Biafra land. Between Lagos and Benin and Asaba, custom officials rake us down. They keep on opening our sealed containers. Before you bring down your container from Lagos to Biafra land, you must have now spent extra 100,000 trying to please the custom officials who are there waiting. We have Calabar Seaport. We have Port Harcourt Seaport. We have the seaport at Warri. We equally have Onitsha Inland Port. The question arises, why is it that none of these seaports is being utilized in the interest of the Biafran people? You tell me one Nigeria when it is beneficial to you alone. You tell me one Nigeria when we keep on importing through Lagos and then transporting them back to Biafra land at our own extra expense. And you tell me one Nigeria when we enter international flights, we touch down at Lagos and Abuja and begin to hasten back to Biafra land. In the course of it all, we lose our lives. And you tell me one Nigeria is one Nigeria only when it is beneficial to the rest of Nigeria and not to the Biafrans or the Igbos. Our people must bury the hatchet. We must bury our differences and begin to talk with one voice. We must form a ring. We must challenge the Nigerian government. We must challenge the international community that it is either they provide us with the wherewithal to enjoy the benefits of the infrastructure. We are going to boycott their goods and their services. My people have suffered a lot. We have died a lot. What stops our people coming down to Biafra land gradually? If we begin to relocate our businesses back to Biafra land, that is the first referendum. What is referendum? Let the people decide on how to govern themselves. Decide whether to be part of the Nigerian structure or not. Decide whether we are going to be part and parcel of the Nigerian Federation or not. How are we going to decide that? When you take a decision that you are no longer interested, this is what you want, and you stand by it. If we, the Igbos, we, the Biafrans, we decide one day, let the businessmen in Lagos and any other part of Nigeria hear this. The very moment all of us, we decide now to shift our businesses back to Biafra land, I will tell you, that is the first success at referendum. We are taking the first step at taking a referendum. This one, no power on earth, not even the Nigerian government will stop us, because it is a free will relocation of your goods and services, of your businesses. When we take this step, it is a referendum. When we compel all the international flights to make sure they touch down Biafra land on regular basis, it is referendum. When we make sure that we import our goods through the Port Harcourt, Warri, Calabar or Onitsha inland port, that is the first referendum. When we take all these measures, I bet you, Nigeria will be grounded and they will beg us. It is because we have not come together to take a stand. And because we have not taken a stand, they continue to lord it over us. The first referendum is not political referendum, where we beg the Nigerian government to give us a chance to decide on our future. You don't need Nigerian government to decide for you to relocate your businesses. We don't need Nigerian government to tell us to write a petition to every international airline that they must have their landing permit in Port Harcourt, in Calabar, Owerri, and Enugu on regular basis. These are the first steps at referendum. When we decide all these things, Nigeria will beg us. Today, they are still making shakara because we have every of our goods and services located in Nigeria. Even the houses we built, all of them are there. How many of our people will consider the importance of building a better mansion in Biafra land, where we can be landlords, but every year and all year long, our people continue to stay in Lagos as tenants. From January to December, whatever money you made, you just hand over to a Yoruba landlord. And you come back home empty-handed. Tomorrow, you continue to visit pastors and the babalawos, thinking that somebody at home has bewitched you. Nobody has bewitched you. It is out of our own foolishness. We must take a stand this time around. We must build our houses in Biafra land to remain landlords instead of remaining tenants in Lagos or in the north. This is the first referendum. When we do this, we have succeeded in the first referendum, and the rest will follow. We can't be talking of political referendum when we forget the economic referendum. That is the most important thing. Think of the whole world. There is no nation that progresses, no matter how powerful you might think, unless you have economic backbone. You are wasting your time. How do we control the economy? Tomorrow they deceive you. Oh, Igbos are everywhere. Igbos are businessmen. They control the economy, this and this and that. If you control the economy, where is the base? You control the economy, the base is in Kano. You control the economy, the base is in Lagos. You control the economy, the base is in Abuja. You control the economy, the base is in Mina. How then do you control the economy when the base is not in Biafra land? Tomorrow we say we have been bewitched. Day in, day out, we continue to visit the churches and the babalawos, accusing our next door neighbor. The neighbor has done nothing against us. Shakespeare will say the fault is in our souls, not in our souls. We see their problems. We continue to soliloquize. This is Shakespeare's Hamlet. Their problems were obvious. Who killed his father was there, standing, open. And he started asking questions. Procrastination, which is the thief of time. When we understand where our problems lie, why do we procrastinate? Why do we waste time in revisiting some of these things and finding enabling solutions? This is the problem with Biafra land. This is the problem we have in Igbo land. And it is the first referendum we are going to take, far from the political. You control the economy and they clap for you. You are happy. You pop wine. You open champagne. They say Igbos control the economy. Where is your base? When you import from overseas, your container will land in Mina, in Abuja, in Lagos. And you say you control the economy. Why can't your container land in Biafra land, at Onisha, Aba, Enugu, Owerri, Ebonyi, or even Port Harcourt, even Warri? Why can't you divert everything to these areas so that when you have your economic base in Biafra land, Yorubas, Hausas will be coming to Biafra land to buy from us. They will enter our vehicles, Ekene Lichuku, De Young, Ekerson, name them. They will enter these buses and come to Biafra land to buy from us. They will stay a day or two, a week or more, and they will pay rent. They will pay hotels for hotel services. When they pay for hotel services, the economy of Biafra land will continue to boom. You want to build 5-star hotel, you go to Abuja. You want to build a mall, you go to Abuja or Lagos, at South Africa, and they see boss everywhere. They control the economy. That is stupidity. How do you control the economy when you have the economic base outside Biafra land? Tomorrow you say Nigeria will give you time debt for referendum. We don't need the Nigerian government to give us a debt for referendum in this regard. Biafrans must wake up. This is why this Voice of Biafra International was established or set up by Chief Wazike for us to tell our people the truth. No matter the consequences. Yorubas will come and clap for you. Hausas will come and clap for you. Igbos control the economic base of the nation and they are rejoicing. Tell me, all your warehouses, where are they located? If your warehouse is not in in Lagos, it's in Abuja. Even in Kano, look at far away Kano. Some time ago, prior to 2015 election, an Igbo man that built a 3-story building in Maiduguri wanted to sell this very house, fearing that there will be, civil catastrophe. How much were the houses in Maiduguri? Pricing 3-story building, 2.5 million. 2.5 million. You can imagine the foolishness of my own people. You went to Maiduguri, you built 3-story building. When somewhere in Ebonyi State, the land is lying fallow. Somewhere in Enugu, land is lying fallow. Somewhere to where the Olo, here and there in Biafra land. You went to Maiduguri, far away Maiduguri. You built 3-story building. When it was time for let my people go, they were pricing it 2.5 million. 2.5 million. Look at that paltry sum of money. We must decide now to relocate all our goods and services to Biafra land. This is the first referendum. This is my own understanding of referendum. When you relocate your businesses back to your own father's background, visitors will come. And what are the advantages? One, they must use our transport vehicles. Ekene Lichuku, Chidiebere, De Young, Ekerson, name them. All of them, they must use our buses. Who is benefiting? Biafrans. Number two, when they come to Biafra land, if they must do this business for 2 or 3 days, they must rent hotels. Who are the owners of the hotels? Biafrans. For a night or 2 or 3, each room will be giving Biafran 50,000 naira. Who is getting? Biafrans. If they can't be coming and going, they would like to also live there permanently. Who will be their landlord? Biafrans. Instead, my people prefer other nations and establish their businesses there. Year in, year out, we remain tenants forever. When you come back, you say somebody has bewitched you. Nobody has bewitched you. You bewitched yourself because of their foolishness. You continue to visit the pastors. And the funny part of it all is that these pastors will understand their recycling foolishness. The moment they discover that you are inherently stupid, they manipulate you spiritually. You become a victim of spiritual highwaymen. We must put an end to this nonsense by casting a vote for referendum. And this referendum is, let the Biafrans, let the Igbos relocate their best businesses. When you go to churches, they manipulate you. They accuse their next door neighbor of bewitching you. Nobody bewitch you, you bewitch yourself. You go to Babalawo, oh my God. You buy a lot of things and you begin to prophesy things he has never seen. How can man's mortal spirit penetrate the inner spiritual world to understand what is happening there? It is not by means of acrobatics. But when you go there, they mix one thing out and dance round and round. You know, mere acrobatics. And they deceive you. You buy cow, you buy goat, you give them. If it is so easy like that, how come that this Babalawo here, there are some poor people in his own locality? We must start with this referendum. This referendum we are saying is that my people must now decide to relocate their businesses and we have our own internal government. Once we relocate our businesses, it is tantamount to having our own internal government just like the Catalonians. When we are through with the economic point of view, we now stand firm like Rock of Gibraltar and take the Nigerian government after the political power, after the economic powerhouse we have acquired now over to politics. If you fail to give us political power, we seize the economy and the nation will be grounded to a halt. Once you seize the economy, it is all over with any nation. So why can't we start from there? What are we waiting for? My people, we cannot be talking of a political referendum when the stark realities are there before us. The first interpretation of referendum coming from the voice of Biafra International is that our people must decide to carry their businesses back to Biafra land. Let us have a base in Biafra land. By then, we shall be controlling the economy. And by so doing, the first success at referendum has been achieved, and we go a step further by demanding political referendum. And when these things happen, the Nigerian government will have no better option than to say, let these people go. Or at least we become a kind of attachment to them. This is what we are saying. We throw the floor open. Sonny Bobo is there. You just entered now when I was introducing you right away from Biafra land. Uche Digi is equally there. Similarly, Jib Chijoke. Let me throw the floor open for my own people. Over to you. Uche Digi, Sonny Bobo, Jib Chijoke. The floor is open.
Me?
Yeah, go on, please. Speak out.
Yeah, thank you very much. Brother, regarding the referendum, our people is misunderstanding about. You have said it all by arguing that our people refuse to understand what they're supposed to understand. They do not realize that what they need to boycott is not even an election that will not even yield any fruitful thing to us. What is the economy of the country? You have said it all that we will not be going out there and developing other nations.
Come close to the window. It's not flowing very well. Uche is not flowing very well. Come out a bit. Come to the window a bit.
Is developing the nation, which we are suffering for, which we are gathering, trying to do. Hear me now?
Yeah, please come close.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now. I think so. It's better now.
Okay. So, my able brother, what I am trying to say is that you have made it very clear to everyone to understand the importance of their plans to return. And I was coming back from Guinea. Somebody asked me to come and buy a plot of land in Lagos where they bought the land. But I told him that no, I'm going down to Biafra land. Whatever I have, I'm going to invest there. So if our people can be able to return back country, our own land which we have even dedicated to the Almighty God as kingdom, we can come develop the nation. That is in fact very important and the first referendum we are going to talk about. Yesterday, when you had the agriculture and other rest of things, this is the first referendum we are going to talk about. When you cannot be able to produce anything you are exporting from the land, how can you be talking about go and boycott one local government election? Is it not our stupidity? Of campaigning for a boycott of election of that is not even majority of the state that make up Biafra land. So for that reason, I believe that our people can invest mostly in agriculture. If we can be able to be producing even cocoa, plantains, farms, and other rest of things, let us be exporting something out of Biafra land. If we and as you are a national, when you tell us about this is what I'm asking last time. When somebody will come and tell us about one Nigeria, now you are confirming that the 80% of Biafrans makes up a flight coming down from Germany, any part of the country, whether United States of America or whatever, any country. But we do not have even international airport. The ones we have is no longer working. The Blackcourt International Airport is no longer working. Count of them, even the ship. Calabar Seaport is no longer working. Port Harcourt Seaport is no longer working. When I'm joining importation, I have to ship my goods through Lagos State. I have to break down again once again to Lagos State in order to make sure that I bring down my goods to Biafra land. This is a very, very disastrous to us. Because if we do not control or make sure that we protest regarding this international delivering to our own state through whether the seaport or international flight, referendum is useless. Because the first referendum have been conducted long talking about referendum. When it was boldly known as introduced by Chief Dr. Rafu Wazike, who made sure that Biafran, his philosophy was not contradicted by these brainless and brainwashed people who are preaching today a referendum by court, referendum by this, referendum by that. When they cannot be able to boast, even their leader cannot be able to boast of investing one kobo in Biafra land, talk less of in Nigeria. So for that reason, I believe that we, being Biafrans, are the people that is going to make Biafra great. Let them think home. Look at even capital of Biafra land trying to rebuild and reconstruct. Even some international standard football standard and others of things, pitch and others of things. What others are doing? Rogers or Krochak, which being the governor of Imo State, is there constructing a statue of the South African president with 500 million that can change the life of 500 people of Biafrans without shaking their economy background. He is there being busy using about 600 million constructing or whatever Christmas tree that contribute nothing to our economy, contribute nothing to our life. Our people is being given a bounce check. This is his workers. I think I thought that those check was being given by fraudsters. How can government be issuing a blank check to his workers? People is being protesting against it. How can not
It's not flowing very well. It's not flowing very well. Change position.
You will go to the bank and present
Please change position a bit. It's not flowing very well. Future, it's not flowing very well. Change your position a bit, please. It's not flowing very well.
By the state, and they say you this check is cash check. What type of no we have to get back to it the next 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. I would appeal to you most sincerely to find a better position to stand or sit and talk to us fluently, because when you talk at times, everything tends to fluctuate. Now, Sonny Babo, you are there online?
Yeah.
Yes, you now understand what we are discussing, that the first referendum has been defined by vobi is making sure we organize ourselves internally, making sure we compel the international airlines to come down to Biafra land instead of stopping by at Lagos or Abuja, making sure that Calabar, Port Harcourt, Warri and Onitsha inland ports are working day in, day out, instead of importing only through Lagos. Relocating all our businesses from Maiduguri, Kano, Minna, Lagos, here and there, back to Biafra land. That when we do all these things, it is the first referendum before we talk of the political. What are your contributions?
Yeah, thank you, my brother Ikena. I think you have said it all when you are making the analysis. The problem is that our people don't want to realize the importance of coming to our own land and develop. On the aspect of the airline people, uh, I will blame them one way or the other side. I will not blame them. All these things are part of the marginalization Nigeria is using against us, because they knew that if they allow the international airports and the seaport to be flowing very well in our own territory, they will all the one in Lagos and other places will collapse, because we are the highest travelers in this country. We are the highest businessmen and women in this country. So on that aspect is another marginalization from the federal government against the Igbos. So coming to the side of our brothers who have been building mansions and here and there in Lagos, in Abuja, doing all sorts of business there. I remember the time the Autopass people went to left the water. They now decided to move down to Rexton. If if they relocate from that Idumota and down to any part of the east here, if you come down to east, there is excess empty land here and there. Just travel from here to Enugu, from here to Aba, from Aba to Umuahia. From you see everywhere is bushy. So if they relocate from Lagos down to the east here and establish their shop and build their shops for their business, I think there will be a great change. Okay, look at our brothers in Nnewi. If not, when Ojukwu was shouting, and the Nnewi people decided to come back home to look at how Nnewi is today. Go to Nnewi now. Before you get a plot of land in Nnewi town now, it's very, very difficult. And even if you got it, they will tell you the price. That is a massive development, because they come back home to establish in their home. Now they are calling Nnewi the Japan of Africa. Everybody is coming into Nnewi to buy everything. And people are coming to buy from them in that particular place. In that Nnewi is a village, but now it's no longer a village. So
If our people first realize, like somewhere in Lagos State, at the back of Ablado, that place is all swamp. But go there today and see what happened. Our brothers have filled everywhere and built mansions there, estate mansions there, at the back of Ablado, Lagos. Go there and see what is happening. Everywhere that is swamp, Igbo man will go and buy and fill it with sand before you know it, you build mansion. So the problem is that let our people realize that even if they come back home and establish or build one or two things in our home, that they will still make it more than the way they're making it over there. And all those buildings they're building in Lagos has no speed of gold. Okay, look at it. Trade fair now. They are now giving them quick notice to move out of trade fair. That's to tell them it's not their land. But if they have, if by the time that they left Idumota, that they come down to the east here and establish and build a shop and start their business, nobody would have asked them for anything. Rather, it will benefit for any state that they were in the eastern land. You see what is happening. Some of the problem is that our people should realize that we need to go back home. I remember that, okay, look at cucumber that they used to bring from the north before. But today, the cucumber that everybody is eating is being cultivated in the Biafra land here. And the one we are cultivating is more even bigger and better, with a good taste than the ones that they used to bring from the north. Because we have a good land to cultivate all these things. Now, when our people realize that they can do this thing here, look at what is happening. If you go and you see, the one that they say in the market now is now bigger than the one that they used to bring from the north. That's to tell you that we can make it. So, as you say, that the first referendum is the one that we should first deal with ourselves by bringing the economy of this nation down to our tribe, because we are the owner of the economy of the nation. 70-something% of the people living in the Lagos are Igbos. 80 or 90% of property in Lagos belongs to the Igbos. The same thing in the north. Go to Abuja today, every estate, everywhere, many houses is owned by Igbo man. That if we relocate from those places and come down to our place here, at least we will have a massive development. Come to every state here. Okay, you are even talking of the one that the Rochas did before. Rochas is even doing another one. He's inviting Justice Salif of Liberia in Imo State, and he's also rating the statue of that woman in the state. So another one is that our so-called governors are the problem we're having. Rochas demolish a kuku to relocate people to another place. The place we are relocating people has not been built, has not been finished. And you want them to go and stay in the bush. So you see the problem we are passing through. Our so-called governors, our so-called senators, our so-called they are not helping matters at all. Because they are in a position to make sure that our people remember the home. Because there is something that you will be, like they say that Obiano is building airport in Anambra, international airport in Anambra. If he is serious and sincere and build that airport, it will relocate a lot of our brothers from many places to come back home. The issue is that they are not helping matters. They are only there to serve their masters in the north. Because those so-called governors, they have their masters in the north whom they are serving. So if they are not helping matter at all, and our people need to rethink, we can still make it from our own place. We can still establish a great thing from our own land. I want to use this opportunity to tell our people, it is important to come back home. It is important to build in our home. It is important to start from home, rather to start from outside. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much for that well-grounded contribution, appraisal of the situation. We must continue to preach to our people with hope that one day their deaf ears will open. We must not relent because we quite understand the predicament they find themselves in. It might take a day, it might take a week, it might take a month, but we know one day my people shall surely come back. We must keep on preaching to them. We must keep on giving them this enlightenment, reminding them that the first definition of referendum is to possess your possession. When you do this, those people you are begging to grant you debt for political referendum will be in a hurry to beg you to take a referendum instead of starving them. Because once you block the economy of a nation, it is all over. Jude Chijoke in Lagos, are you with us still online?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, when we talk about people relocating, I don't know if those of you in Lagos are frightened. Are you people frightened in Lagos, afraid of coming back to Biafra land to put your businesses? Jude Chijoke, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Kidman. And thank you all fellow Biafrans who are listening in all parts of the world. I think today's topic is quite different from other topics, and it is very, very interesting, and I think a sensitive one at the same time. You know, the issue of the situation of Ndi Igbo or Biafrans in general in Nigeria, you know, has a lot to do with our situation, you know. So, and if you are trying to maybe kind of analyze it in a particular day, I don't think it is going to be that possible. I think it's something that we start gradually, and you know, once it has been started, people will definitely start moving gradually. Because first of all, it is a strategy from the Nigerian government, you know, to ensure that our people, you know, leave our own lands to other part of the country where they can easily find, you know, seaports, international airports. And when I talk of international airports, I mean the functioning international airports and the functioning seaports and the others that have to do with good roads and you know, railway and the easy ways of transporting goods or farm products as well. So this has been the strategy of the government of Nigeria, and you know, our people seem to have realized, a lot of our people seem to have realized that these are the facts which they have placed on ground to ensure that we continue to leave our own lands to various parts of the country to develop it. So, you know, like Uchedeji and Sonny Emmanuel have earlier stated, they made it clear that, you know, our past leaders have really emphasized on these issues. And it will certain of joy that, you know, when they emphasize that, a lot of our people have gotten the fact that this is where the problems lies. So, from your own broadcast today, you've been able to touch various parts, most especially when it has to do with flights, the issue of Biafrans being the most dominant people in each flight, in all part of going all part of the world. Yes, because this is true. Igbo Biafrans lives in all part of the world. There is no part of the world you will go today you cannot find Igbo Biafrans. We are scattered all over, and whatever we want, we can actually get it. I believe that. But first of all, we have to speak with a voice, and that is the reason why you know, I'm very happy of this VOBI, because it has been able to bring our people. When I talk of our people, I'm referring to our people who are awakened, our people who their eyes are open, because that is the reason why we started this struggle, and I believe we are on the right track. Because if you ask me now, that you can't just meet a businessman, for example, who resides in Lagos or any part of other country which is not, or any part of Nigeria which is not Biafran land, to just kind of relocate. easily, and the person will see you as somebody that is giving him or her a good advice. But the fact remains that it is a something that has to be done. It is something that has to be done, because the more we shy away, the more we postpone it, the more we feel that it is not yet time. I think that we are using our own hands to put ourselves in our own position, because we have found out what the problems are. So from the issue of a referendum, like you said, that the referendum should have to start with the issue of bringing our people together to come down to our own land, to start with a voice by bringing our businesses, our homes, our houses, and put in all part of the other country, most especially in Nigeria and part of the world. But if we can bring it down to our own place in Biafra land, then we can be able to stand on a particular ground and then make a demand. I think that's where my own attention is mostly being focused on. Because as a people, we have to take a power by taking a stand. We have to reclaim our power. We have to reclaim our glory. We have to reclaim our lost, positions in part of by reclaiming our stand. So I believe that presently, people living in out of different living in part of the world, most especially in all part of Nigeria, who have been investing times, places. I think it is time they all start putting it into agenda. Like you said, we just started emphasizing on this, but we have to throw more light into it. And at the same time, I think get to our governors, our political, I don't know how to put it, but the people in position, like for example, our leaders, for them to also work and to ensure that modalities, as in the smooth grass where markets, schools, certain places where they can be, built, are being made available. I think that is my own opinion to that, on that particular issue. And I believe that our people are listening presently. They know how difficult this challenge is, but I think it is something that we really have to do if we really want to move forward, and if we really claim that we are one people. I think that is something that really needs to be done. Iken, I don't know if you are there.
Yes,
it is something that we really need to do. Yeah. So my point, in summary, I will like to appeal to our people that there is no point, we wasting time, believing that they are going to change overnight, while they still continue to cheat us in the same country which we call ours. So, and it is not going to stop. It will definitely continue. Like my fellow crew members who have contributed, said a lot of things, concerning the areas where they point our people to go and build markets. They go there, they build all kinds of markets, and they eventually, within some period of time, they tell them to go somewhere else. They will now, so it is something that
okay, we are not getting you clear again. Let me take it up from there. Uche Digi rightly pointed out when he said that they are giving us bounced check. And that is true. They are giving us bounced check and we are accepting. But here, Jude had to counter by saying that we have to do everything possible to reclaim our lost glory. How do we reclaim our lost glory? By organizing internal referendum and telling our people, everybody come home. Look at this. Sometime 2015, I was aboard British Airways from London to Accra. As soon as we left Mali, Burkina Faso International Express, we entered Nigerian Express. Even from Burkina Faso, if you look to the right side, you see Lomé, Accra, all those West African nations. You see their names on this navigator, British Airways navigator, pointing to you this place now, Accra, Lomé, Cotonou, this and that. The left side, I was seeing Buya, Yaoundé. All those countries over there, Kano, some of these Nigerian states, Lagos, here and there. Could you imagine there was no state in Biafra land, in Igbo land, no city in Igbo land that was reflected on British Airways? Put me. Those who use British Airways, try what I'm telling you now. This was August last year, 2015. From London to Accra, I was aboard British Airways. There was no, what do you mean? No particular state in Biafra land. Why are we so much hated? Even though the aircraft was from London to Accra, 40% of the passengers were Igbos, Biafrans. I bet you. Because my people do a lot of businesses in Accra. Imagine that. We are lost out. We are given blank check. And we accept all these things without questioning. What do we do? Now somebody is pointing out that back there in Imo State, the Imo State Governor, Rochas Okrocha, is building or constructing or molding, is a better word, is molding another image of a particular president of a nation we do not know yet. My people, I don't know if our madness has become incurable. But I promise you, those things must surely go down. It is a matter of time. Our people cannot be suffering, and they are molding images of foreign gods. The teachers are not being paid. You are using our money to mold the images of foreign gods. Civil servants, public servants not being paid. You are using their money to mold images of foreign gods. And whatever remains, you take them to their own countries for them to protect for you. That is why you are molding their images. You want to give them that honor back home in Biafra land for them to protect their loot in their own countries. We must reclaim our lost glory. Our people shall begin henceforth to be getting ready. We are going to picket all this in a matter of time. They can never fool us forever. You cannot take your families in Europe to Europe and America and they begin to enjoy all the good things of life when the ordinary person in the village is languishing in protracted poverty. There is no light. Every day and all day long at night, it is total darkness. Ethereal darkness, I may call it. Nothing to show any sign of humanity in our various villages just because our politicians have wrecked us down. There is no water to drink. A woman in the village cannot find water to drink. At this jet age, this modern time, our men and women in the villages are drinking water from the pond. And he tells us we are going to exist as one Nigeria and we are going to let all these our politicians to escape unscathed. We must begin to ask questions. We must begin to enlighten our people. We must tell our people some of those things you have but have been deprived of. We cannot continue to keep quiet. This session was established for this particular purpose, to tell our people the truth. Mind you, for those who are campaigning, trying to denigrate us, we are not asking anybody to contribute for Voice of Biafra International, not even the politicians. We are not asking you for any money. We are not asking for any sponsorship. We are not asking for any support. We are contented with what we have in Voice of Biafra International for reasons that the bim-massob family is taking adequate care of whatever it will take to make sure we broadcast. So hold on your money. What we are saying is that whatever money you have, go back to Biafra land and invest it. Move down to Biafra land and invest this your money. Bring down your goods and services down to Biafra land. We are talking, this is referendum. Yesterday, we dwelt extensively on the concept of agriculture, how it's going to help us to feed our teeming population, to forestall the possibility of our importing from any angle in terms of hostility. We must continue to point out all these things for people to hear and possibly to practice them. It might not be easy at this present time, but we are sure that when we start this particular journey together, with time we shall reach our destination. Remember, somebody said, if you go alone, the journey becomes too far. But if you go in group, the journey is easily concluded. We are going to march together to reach our destination. These people are messing us up. We don't have anything to boast of in Biafra land. Look at our roads. Of recent, the same Imo State governor demolished people's houses along the major roads in Imo State with the hope to get something reconstructed. Up to today, we are still wishing that something at least good shall happen. But then, how possible? Days are numbered. But we tell you, it is a matter of time. They are going to give us all account of the stewardship. Nobody loses all the time, otherwise others shall be getting all the time. You have to lose some, you gain some, and there will be a time when the poor shall have nothing to eat but the rich. Our people cannot continue to suffer. We have suffered enough. We flow with milk and honey as divine providence blessed us. Then where are all those things? Few individuals, the cabals, covet everything. Nigeria as a whole, the story is the same thing. You come and tell me one Nigeria, one Nigeria. I am calling all the Igbos, all the Biafrans, that time for us to organize internal referendum has come, and this referendum is not political, but rather to take census of ourselves, of our goods, of our establishments here and there, and begin to relocate them back to Biafra land. We are telling the power that be in Biafra land, you must now begin to make necessary arrangements to provide our people with the acres of land to build markets of international standard. We shall stop reclaiming the lagoon, the ponds, all these things in Lagos. Year in, year out, we go and reclaim every swampy zone and begin to pump millions and trillions into no man's land. A land that is not our own by birth, by heritage. Just because of political convenience. You begin to pump all their resources. Do you know that you are mortgaging the future of your children? The fathers have eaten sour grapes and the children's teeth are set on edge. How can our children's teeth be set on edge because of the sour grapes eaten by our fathers? They are selling us cheaper to the enemies. If they make our heritage in the land of the enemies, what then shall we do when the time for us to say, this is mine, this is yours? We shall have nothing to go home with. We are telling our people. Talk to our people over there. We are directing this in more especially to our businessmen in Lagos, in Kano, in Minna, in Abuja. Come back to your senses because the die is cast and the time is now out of joint. Do not think that this marriage shall last forever. It is impracticable. It is impossible. God, in His infinite wisdom, never destined Nigeria to be a united nation. It is a matter of time. Nigeria is going to be balkanized, either through, of course, let us say peacefully, whether you like it or not. The sea does not eat what doesn't belong to it. Not even the human body consuming what doesn't belong to it. One day, the sea must vomit what is swallowed. In the same vein, one day Nigeria shall stand to say, Biafra, go. It happened to the pharaohs of Egypt in the years yore, when they thought they had converted everything of the Israelites. When it was time for divine providence to release his own people, there was nothing anybody could do against it. And even the ridiculous protest they tried to make was visited with plagues. Today, what is happening? 1884, they stood up somewhere in Spain and said, House of Jacob, come, let us go. That was a Biafra declaration. House of Jacob, come, let us go. When shall my people say, House of Biafra, come, let us go? I remember during the 1993 Abiola crisis, when Abiola won the election through the instrumentality of SDP, Social Democratic Party, but it was annulled by Mr. Babangida. Everybody thought there would be, crisis in the nation. Within 1 week, Igbos vacated Lagos. Within few days, all the bosses in Lagos left for Igbo land. Within few days, Lagos became a ghost nation. From Ocean, you will see somebody standing at Agege. From Ocean, you will see somebody in Maitu. From Maitu, you will see somebody at Ajangbele. Lagos became a ghost nation. That is to say, the Igbos hold the testimony of the Lagos progress. Why can't we then transfer all these goods and services back to Biafra land to make fallow what remains of Lagos for the Yoruba landlords? Now to say now, Biafra's place, come back, stay. That is when you will now stay in a flat in Lagos paying only 20,000 naira if you want to remain there. The moment we begin to relocate, landlords in Lagos will beg you to stay for 20,000 naira in a flat. I bet you. But because we have not made such a move, they are now in control of every paraphernalia of that particular city. We must go back to the background and begin to think what is the problem with us. The moment we identify our inherent problems, the solution has started. Biafrans must wake up. The Igbos must wake up. We are not saying that we should not live at peace with our neighbors. Our neighbors are our good friends and we shall live at peace with them, but not in their own terms. A Yoruba man asked an Igbo man, what do you do? What must we do to make sure that people forget this Biafra? And the guy asked him, okay, let us have seaport in Port Harcourt, in Calabar, and Warri. The Yoruba man was dumbfounded. He said, why? For what? Look at that statement. Why? For what? But you want one Nigeria. When we gave you our own terms, our own conditions for remaining in Nigeria, you say why? That means Nigeria is possible at the terms of the Yoruba people when they are the principal beneficiaries. Tomorrow you say we should not talk. You tell me, what shall we do for us to remain in Nigeria? Well, let us put an international airport in every region in Nigeria. Let us have one in Port Harcourt, in Calabar, in Enugu. He said no, but Lagos one is enough. Is it enough? Because we pay revenue to Lagos state government for making use of their facilities. Somebody will say Lagos is no man's land. What do you mean by is no man's land? Who rules Lagos today? When they come and they chase you away from the land, move you away from Trade Fair Complex, heading you towards Badagry, what do? Ridiculous protests. And year in, year out, you continue to brandish your self-ego and telling us you believe in one Nigeria. Stupidly, some time ago here in Germany, in the city of Munich, I met a particular misguided Igbo idiot. We were talking about this question of resource control and what have you. This cerebral idiot had a present effrontery telling us there's nothing wrong in Nigeria, sharing our patrimony equitably. But then, assuming we share all this equitably, there will be no basis for complaint. But it's only in a situation where a section of the country converts everything to the detriment of those who have it all. We must say no to all these things. We must continue to sensitize our people. We must tell them that time has gone when other people will continue to manipulate our sensibilities. We must wake up from this medieval slumber. We must be standing now, agile. We must at times be confrontational, but not a question of hostility. Talk to these people, round table, eyeball to eyeball, and tell them that it is either we share this equally or everything will be mixed with sand right now. If you have not told their assailant, it is either we share this equally or nobody will eat it, you will not understand their resolve. We must do something now to checkmate the excesses of these covetous. Enough is enough. We must tell them that we have the same stake like you. It is not only when it comes to your own benefit that you show one Nigeria, but when it is the interest of the Biafran, you say no, take it as you see it. Patrice Lumumba will ask his audience, are we children of a lesser God? Tell me, are the Igbos children of a lesser God? Is it not the same God that created them that created us? Or were they created on Sundays and Mondays and we were created on Saturdays and Fridays? We must tell them that the very day you were created, we were equally created. And the same infinite providence gave us the same opportunities as you were given. And we cannot bury our own for our own to continue to blossom. There will be a time when we shall begin to ask questions of all these our politicians. They are the principal problems we have in Biafra land. You have a constituency allowance. What use do you make of it? When the poor people in your village cannot enjoy simple electricity, not even pure water to drink. And tomorrow you tell me that things are working fine. Things cannot work fine in Nigeria, where the haves continue to have, the have-nots continue to grow, poor and poor, day in, day out. The floor is still once open for our people to contribute. Uche Digi, are you there with us? Hello, Uche Digi. I don't know if you have restored the connectivity.
Yes, I'm right here, my able director.
Yeah, what do you have to say? We are telling our people to come home. We must challenge this idea of one section of the country taking whatever that belongs to from our very background, and we go away empty-handed. Time has come and we must ask questions. Which did you?
Yes, my brother, when I tell the IPOB limited group of companies who travel all the way from Biafra land to United Kingdom to that country that enslaved our people and registered a company that is paying tax to that government, that is contributing to the economy instead of paying tax to our own government as well. Because in Biafra land, I pay tax. When I was in Biafra land, I used to pay tax in order to make sure that our government is being promoted. In order to make sure that all the heroes and heroines that we are taking care of is being taken care of. So why those people who are being used by the same people that enslave our people, that is continue to sponsor them to make sure they bring confusion in Biafra land by staying by court Anambra state election and not even contributing to our economy. Them supposed to use the time they used to shout there will be no election in Anambra state to tell our people to relocate. When some people are of a marginalization that when these people in Lagos come back home, they will not see any place to stay to do their own businesses. But you forgotten that a long time ago, Alaba International Market was not built by the government. It is our people who construct it. Go to some of those big markets today. When it is being destroyed, our people go another place and they rebuild another market, making it even international standard. So why can't them come home and make sure that Biafra land is being constructed? So for that reason, I believe that we'll supposed to stop talking about a referendum that will not even benefit us. The first referendum we're supposed to embark on is the agricultural development and make sure that man living abroad come back home and
start establish their businesses. The first referendum we're supposed to talk about is to make sure that we vote against the international communities regarding the airway line that is dropping us halfway. In Lagos, they dump us in Abuja, they dump us in Kano, which is not to our destination. So for that reason, this is what we have to bring the civilization that will benefit our people in Biafra land and not the Operation Dance and Kill. So what they are asking our people, like what the event that occurred in Enugu last week ago, you can imagine what happened and what they want to put the nation into. This is the same thing they are trying to do when you are saying that they are putting a poster, they are placing a poster and saying there will be no election. I'm telling you, Anambra State election is a done deal. It's 100% done deal. But I am very pity to those that is going to be brainwashed not to come out on that election day to be voted and produce a governor of their own choice. So I am telling our people through this medium that was provided for us by Chief Dr. Rab Owazirike, whom succeed as indeed the legislation for them to come out and invest their time by voting in during the Anambra State election comes this November, I think 18th. So this, by so doing, this is how we are going to make sure that Biafra is benefited. Those who are going to sponsor our young youth that have nothing to do. In my town, when I traveled in January, I found out that even the young generation have put their hands into some bush and drinking, smoking their hands and other of not. So we need to engage this youth on agriculture and make sure that they are available to us. So this is what I believe that IPOB Limited Group of Company and their leaders will be doing. They have nothing to contribute in Biafra development. They have nothing to contribute but in the international community. Because when the one media station was interviewing them, they said that United Nations do not know anything they are doing. But they are, what type of contradiction is that? So we, being the mouthpiece of Biafrans that started the agitation, we are asking them to stop that referendum and join the movement that is bringing our people home. Bringing our people home is not when you wake up in Lagos cannot come to make sure several things in that they are coming home to contribute to what you have started. So we have to be the example. We have to start. We have started through the help of Idina Libo. I think on 28th or on 26th of this November, our people, our agriculture minister is going to present what we have harvested. And our talented youth is going to present their sciences and other things during the time of Remembrance Day. So this is what we have to put those people that try to grab power by all means. It is not by all means, but it is by God choosing. It is all and the royalty. They have to follow that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. What we are saying in effect is that referendum starts internally when we gather ourselves together, when we come back to think of those things that trouble our minds, when we try to put those things aright. We have crossed the first hurdle at referendum. when we convince our businessmen here and there to relocate their businesses down to Biafra land, when we compel our politicians and the governors to make available use of the facilities we have for the interest of our people, we have crossed a first hurdle at referendum. When we compel the international airlines to make sure that every international airline coming to Nigeria touches down Biafra land, because we form the bulk of the passengers, that is the first hurdle we must be crossing at referendum. We have to do all these things to make sure we protect the interests of our people. Equally, we have to make sure that we gather our loitering youth into the farm to begin to cultivate. We must produce yield in case of emergency, that we should not depend on the enemies to feed us. Because if that happens, it is tantamount to self-destruction. We must not allow that to happen. We must come together and we must survive. On the strength of this, for the time being, let us play a little bit of Biafra music from Mbise. Yeah, we thank you so much for being with us. We are almost coming to the end of this day's broadcast. Let me say, in the next 15 minutes, we shall be rounding up, and we are asking our people. We are always here available for you to tell you the simple truth. We don't deceive anybody. We call a spade a spade. Why must we be afraid of telling you the truth? Do you pay us? Nobody contributes for us, and we don't want it. Let me re-emphasize. Voice of Biafra International does not demand a contribution from anybody, not even groups. We make bold to repeat, vobi does not demand a contribution from anybody. We are self-sponsored. That is why we must tell you the raw truth. We have nothing to fear. So that if we lose the sponsorship, we crumble. No, because we don't depend on you, we must tell you the raw truth. And the raw truth is Biafrans must come together while respecting their neighbors. Biafrans must begin now to cultivate the yield in case of emergency. Biafrans must begin now to come back home. As we are making preparations to bring in our people together. Some seasoned criminals, some idiots, well grounded and fabricated idiots like Chinonyereya Onwukeme is somewhere writing that so person is a criminal. This person, Chinonyereya, no, I can't say Chinonyereya because his is a different thing. Chinonyereya Onwukeme must have been born by a well-celebrated village criminal. That is why whenever he talks, nothing but criminality oozes from him. So we want this cerebral idiot called Chinonyereya Onwukeme that when he begins to fool himself on social media, we shall help him to tell the world that he is a child of illegitimate union. We don't want to use Voice of Biafra International to abuse any Biafran sensibility. But if anybody gives us the go-ahead, we shall have the language to address the person. This is Chinonyereya Onwukeme of no importance at all, reminds us of rusticity, somebody's thinking stench and decay, a particular oath that has no means of livelihood, somebody whose lifespan is measured in coffee spoon is coming here to call Chief Waziki a criminal. We begin to remind you that this one time and ever cerebral non-entity has nothing to offer to humanity, and the best thing that is good for him is to consign and confine in a psychiatry where he shall remain a slave to his intellect and a stranger to his own brain forever and ever. We abhor and abominate and forbid such a recycled non-entity called the Chinonyereya Onwukeme. We detest him and he has been dislodged from this. So that is the situation of things now. And another well-baked fool, Ugochukwu Joseph Amechi, is here talking rubbish. This Ugochukwu Joseph Amechi is another well-grounded and well-baked foolish man who has no particular village to point out as his own. And here is a person who goes about except to look for where to steal to fend his ever, famished appetite. We lose him and we don't want him near us where decent minds are. We don't want to abuse anybody, but the moment they begin to give us the go-ahead to use languages on them, we shall excavate the arsenal of our linguistic competence to tell them what we have in stock for them. The fact that we have remained silent, we don't want to talk, does not mean that we lack the wherewithal to address them. In terms of connotation, we are well-grounded. In terms of denotation, we are well-grounded. And we can open our lexicon to give them unkind inventors, which we consider so befitting to their fabled fabled selves. Enough of these idiots. We wouldn't use Voice of Biafra International to be the misguided Arabic air that we rather use it to steal from our people. We don't want to be so stupid like they used to be. We are here a decent people and we shall not give room to idiots. Fellow Biafrans, let us play a little bit of music once again before we call it a day. However, let me say for now before we end the program, if our co-correspondents and they have anything to contribute in what we have said so far. We are talking of these idiots who see nothing good in their fellow human beings, why they themselves are not better than animals in the zoo. These are the well-baked idiots, fools, who call Nigeria a zoo, but their character and characteristics quite depict a wild animal in the zoo. There is nothing that differentiates them from the pig in the zoo. Nothing differentiates them from a wild animal in the zoo. Their behavior, their attitude, their character, their characteristics, name them, everything around them. They have nothing tangible to offer humanity except decay, stench, and physics. This is what makes them. So when these people roam the universal frame, do not think of them as human beings when you come across them. Just see them as mere objects, meaning nothing, offering nothing, and for all we know, they will be confined in the dark side of history when the time comes for us to take a proper census of the human beings in our midst. Gentlemen of the crew, what do you have to say before we call it a day?
Thank you, my brother.
I would like to
Hello?
say thank you, for throwing a little light, into those kind of issues, because this has been the one of the problem, our people have been complaining about. I think, first of all, Ikenna, I would like to commend you, for the way you are able to, call these people by their names, because these people have houses, they live somewhere, they have town, they came from a particular place in Biafra land, I think so. So, and they still go about misinforming people, telling all kinds of lies, coming to the internet or air or in any kinds of form to say different kinds of lies which they don't have any evidence of. I think it is time our people, differentiate these people from whatever we are doing. These people never meant well for us. They come online just to abuse people, and they just want someone who will think along their own. I think most of them doesn't even know that they are being used. Their job is to come online and misinform the public, and I think a lot of people are beginning to find out that they don't want to join issues with most of these people, but that doesn't make them superior. That doesn't make them the more sensible people, or people that are especially human or great people or some kind of stuff. They are just being, I don't know how to put it in words. I don't like using such kind of words to qualify people who are not being reasonable in most of their dealings. I see them as a failure. They have failed. All what they've told Biafrans, all what they've told people that they are going to do overnight, they have failed. So whatever they are doing now is a sign of frustration, if I may say. So I don't think such a people will they are only trying to drag everyone else down. So I will rather prefer taking my time to discuss on how we are going to progress in our struggle and how we are going to achieve our aim. Rather than taking time thinking of people that have been brainwashed from the beginning, and even when most of them realize that they've been deceived, only for them to take a U-turn and come back to their senses. But some prefer to die on it. This is exactly how a lot of them went to through their life into the issue of Enumaya. Until today, I don't know who they think they died for. They died for a man's cause, and then the Kanu's cause. I think that is a very simple way. So I will also appeal to those who goes about spread all kinds of lies against the bim-massob leader and other good citizens of Biafra that they have done this or that. I think they should desist from such. That is just my own candid advice. They should desist from such, and Biafrans in general should as well differentiate these people whenever they should learn how to either talk sense into them, ignore them, or point these people out. People knows who they are. So I think that is my own contribution. People should be on awakened. People should do their own investigation, they themselves. Don't wait until somebody from somewhere start coming to you to lie all kinds of manners of which are not. You can never go and make any research and find that it's true. You find out that they will tell you A, when you go in there you see B.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jojo. So, I must be frank with you. We are taking note of everything, Jojo. We are taking note of everything. And the ones they mess up, I will announce their names on air. We are here talking of issues that will benefit the generality of our people. We don't discriminate because we know Igbos, Biafrans are the same people, the same blood. We are here talking for the interest of everybody. And a misguided element somewhere is abusing his fellow human being. It's quite unfortunate. Why do they behave like animals in the zoo, which they attack their fellow human beings? That's their problem. That is their problem. Now let us go to Uche Digi and Sonny Baba to make closing remarks before we call it a day. Uche Digi, before we come to Sonny.
Yes, wonderful people of Biafra. All
All I have to say at the moment is that you have said it all. Most of these stupid elements that continue to cause havoc through internet media and the other rest of means they have been causing problem to our people both in Biafra land. They are the same people that put those posters boycott elections. So we can't give them chance. If you ask me, I would say even if it is possible, let the Biafrans security personnel in the seen for a day. Even all the even though if bring any argument on table, they will continue to cause you. As their master continue to say Nigeria is a zoo. That is the reason why I say he's not a monkey because he behave like one.
And
Once
of
you
course,
come
the father, excuse me, Uche,
everybody
the father
in
receives
that
money from
country
the
is
zoo. His father receives money from the
yes, of
zoo,
course,
and his sister is working for the zoo.
exactly,
So who is an animal?
exactly. When you call the nation a zoo, and all people living there is an animal, then you went back and eat with animal, which means you are not a monkey. You are the head of the animals in the zoo. So that is the reason why if you do not reason like an animal, how can you tell your fellow human beings that being 2015 you are going to give them Biafra nation that you do not have in your pocket? If you are not an animal, how can you tell the whole of your brainwashed entities that it is only by boycotting election they will get a referendum because you have no strategies. The person that is campaigning for referendum is even Barrister Tony Nade, who control I think
Lower Niger Congress.
Niger Delta's
Lower Niger Congress.
movement over there.
Yeah, Lower Niger
So
Congress.
they have lost an animal. How can you go and bought a different this thing strategy from somebody? It's a bold strategy. If you're not an animal, if the person is not an animal, how can he went on and on, continue to brainwash his people that Biafra or death to be fearless? But when the Nigerian troop comes in, isn't that if he is not an animal, how can he tell Barrister Chief Dr. Aswati that a freedom fighter is supposed to live in inside bush? But if he live in his compound, he cannot even we don't even have his house of his own, and he is living in his father's compound, which leaded the youth of that community to say that they are going to renounce his father as their heirs elect. So if the person reasons like a being, he would not be contradicting issues. Understand? So we should be seeing them like an animal, the real animal. Because if you remember, he is the person that was campaigning that Chief Dr. Afu Waziri wanted to come out for Senate. Where they get all this information is where I don't know. Okay, today they are the people that they want to join elections. They want to join political elections and politicians to be conducting election. They need an offices. So this is the same people messing our nations. So we will continue. We will not allow them to have hold of us. We will not allow them to determine for us. But our action will continue to speak for us wherever we are. Because even in our Facebook page, when they try to say, "What have you done?" I counted not less than 19 to 20 achievements. But they cannot count one thing they have ever made. So, my brother, let us continue and let those riffraff to continue misbehaving.
Thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for that. Sonny Baba, are you there? Your last comment for the day. Sonny, are you there from Biafra land?
Yeah, my brother Ikenna, thank you very much. I think over this particular issue, we will give them a deaf ear somehow. Like you said, it is good that whenever they make such comments, you expose the person's name on the net. You know, they are behaving like their master. As you can say, if their master can be there in the Abuja and say that Buhari is a madman or whatever, so their blood tonic is insult and cause. So it has been their blood tonic and they can't do without it. It is the sentence that runs in their blood. There is no way you can stop them except you kill it, or except you kill on the person is dead. So it has been part of them. There is nothing you can do now to stop them over that. Whenever you say something or whatever, they must surely abuse you, they must surely curse you, they must surely use one wrong word against you, either by calling you a criminal or calling you a Hausa man or calling you a Fulani man or calling you a thief, all sort of nonsense. So that has been their blood tonic. It has been something running inside their vein. So I think one way or the other, when such a thing come across, of course again, we ignore them and go and forge ahead of what we are doing. Let it not be like as if we are dragging anything with them because we have no maturity with them. So the issue is that whenever you got such a comment from them, you put the person's name on air, and we leave. We don't even need to discuss or debate on what they were saying against us. So because I think such a thing can be bringing us backwards, then we forge ahead with other activities we have for our people.
That
Thank
is,
you, my brother.
thank you so much. One of their members is saying they are not going to listen to us, and here is somebody who is logged on to our program, listening to us, yet saying they are not. He's not going to listen to us. We are talking to those who have ears, not to the deaf. If you have ears, you listen to us. If you don't have ears, that means you are deaf and we are not talking to you. This is what we are saying. We are here to put records straight. We are tired of lies. They have fed our people with lies for the past 3 to 4 years and came to nothing. At the end of the day, the Supremo, the Commander-in-Chief, was the first to disappear into thin air. Today, he is nowhere to be found. Instead, they are blaming the federal government for its own misdemeanor. If you know that you don't have the fins, why did you try to swim in the sea? If you know you don't have the wings, why did you try to fly like the birds? This is the tragedy of an individual who came out to claim the supremacy over any other person. But when it was time to measure strength, you discover that it's nothing but an inflated balloon. And on the strength of that, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Biafras, we say thank you so much for being with us since the evening. Thank you for your patience, for your understanding, for your contributions as we call it a day to meet again on Friday. And I have the pleasure to announce that on Friday, we are having a guest speaker in the person of Dr. Frederick Frashel, the Odua People's Congress strongman. I repeat, on Friday, we are interviewing Dr. Frederick Frashel, the Odua People's Congress strongman. He will be on air with us on Friday. Time is 8 p.m. Nigeria, Biafra time. Thank you for being with us as we move on. And let me not forget, equally on Sunday, we shall be interviewing the Secretary to Arewa Elders Council, Professor Ango Abdullahi. Time is 8 p.m. Nigeria, Biafra time. Until then, fellow Biafrans, we say good night and God bless you.